Okay, I'm going to take you for a little tour of my garden. This is the bin that I had started earlier, and I filled half of it with kitchen scraps and then soil. And here is my yellow zucchini. Woohoo! Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? I haven't grown that many on one plant. I mean, ever. Never. And this is my broccolini. You see, I've been harvesting it today. So there's a few more right here. And I think these are all growing really well because of this bin that I placed. When I water this bin, all the compost that was in the bottom, the water goes through there and then out through the holes in the bottom of the bin and fertilizes all of these plants. I have flowers, I have dill, I have beets, and there is, what is that, red basil that I did not plant. It came from my neighbor's backyard. I'm very thankful for it. I don't know what this is. This is a freeloader. I'm pretty sure it's a cucumber. See, and there's more broccolini. I mean, look at that. Gorgeous. And my sea of broccoli seeds. All seed heads. Look at that, eh? Wow. This here is comfrey. I planted 3 little comfrey plants 2 years ago. Look at that. These are gorgeous flowers though, and they attract a lot of bees. And I'm pretty sure we have skunks living under there because we have a skunk family that walks around, and I'm very happy with that. I do love skunks. They won't spray you if they know you're coming, and only if you shock them or, you know, try to attack them. But you know, it's good to have them in your yard because they do eat slugs and grubs and snails and all that. It's very good. This is my baby kale. There's another freeloader. Look at that, eh? My cherry tomatoes. That's more kale. That is, I think, is that red kale? I think it's red kale. Or maybe winter kale. You know, I did not plant that either. Somebody else must have planted it. And probably the birds ate some seeds and they just dropped them everywhere, right? And see, that's another compost bin, and I have oregano in there. And I mean, look at these plants. They're growing really, really well. I just harvested more peas. This is my lemon verbena. Here is this is my Egyptian walking onion bed. And as you can see, these are the little tiny onions on the top, and it's sprouting again. Look at that. This is a little herb garden that I planted in this tiny little pot. It's like one of those fabric pots, grow pots. And this is sage, and over there is thyme, and these are green onions. Look at the seeds. You know, you can eat these seeds, eh? They're really delicious. And but the green onions I planted, what, 4 years ago? And all I do is clip them down, and I never pull them out. And they're like perennials. They just keep coming back. This is another cherry tomato. Beautiful. That's another pot that I planted. I put kitchen scraps in there and then planted, added some soil. And this is summer savory. And I mean, it's growing very well. Same thing here. I also put kitchen scraps down in there. And I have broccolini. I just harvested a bunch. And down around there somewhere is beets, but they're not growing so great in this one. And here I have beets and snapdragons echinacea over there, and these are cherry tomatoes. Or no, these are the large tomatoes. That's right. These are not cherry tomatoes. These are large ones. They're growing. And here, my little compost bin. This is another cherry tomato plant. I love cherry tomatoes. Look at all these peas. And in there is another yellow zucchini. Oh, and down there, this one here is a green zucchini. And this is the bin, another bin that I had kitchen scraps in. Same thing, and it's also fertilizing all of this. And this is also that red kale. Calendula. Where's the calendula? Oh, there it is. It's calendula. And there is more yellow zucchini. And that's that those flowers are the thumbergias. Here's another pot that I have. This is summer savory, and I have that in a pot as well that I just added in here. And this is another cherry tomato plant that I have growing in this pot. And look at that. It's really big. I have to tie it. I added some string here to keep it standing up. It's just huge. Really big. And look at the cherry tomatoes. And here are 3 more zucchini plants that I planted in this garden bed. There's yellow zucchini. And that is the other little compost little pot. Hold on. There we go. See that? This is another zucchini, another yellow zucchini, and here's another yellow zucchini. I mean, look at that. So these beds are growing really well. I also have some freeloaders in this bed that, I don't know, I think they left over from last year. When I had that big tumbling composter, like that one there, I had these in this garden bed. I had one in this garden bed. And we emptied the compost out. We were composting all winter, and we emptied the compost out into this bed. And this is a freeloader, and I'm not sure what that is. Kind of looks like a pumpkin. And there's another freeloader here. I'm sure this is a pumpkin. And look at those beautiful flowers. Aren't they gorgeous? And these are my bush beans. My lovely sweet green bush beans. And more peas. And this is that other garden bed full of bins. And look at that. I mean, the fertilizer's coming out of this bin, and look at that. It's just gorgeous, isn't it? See these cherry tomatoes? I'm going to have to tie them up pretty soon because they're growing fast. This is another freeloader. I'm pretty sure. Kind of looks like a pumpkin. This is a green zucchini. And he's being fertilized by these 2 bins. This is Cosmo flower. This is an old bin that I had planted, and I had this in the greenhouse, and so I just pulled it out and put it in the center here. It's okay. It's not too bad. These are my kale. Green onions. There's another freeloader. Looks like another pumpkin plant. These are my cherry tomatoes I planted down in there, just in the soil that was in this little garden bed here. And you can see they're growing really well. They're also being fertilized by this bin, which also has cherry tomatoes. See that? They're just doing so well. And over here is another bin that I put on this chair, and when I water it, the fertilized water comes out of these little holes down at the bottom here and into this pot. This I learned from Robbie and Gary's Garden Easy channel, and I really love them. So this is, what do you call that? Compost tea? So I do actually pour it on other garden beds. This is the basil, and this is, what is this? This is kombucha, I think that's what it's called. It's a squash that I planted, and inside there are all mulberries from this giant mulberry tree that we did not plant. It's taller than our house. This is one of the many trees that the birds planted, and the neighbors are pissed off. It makes everything so messy. Look at that, mulberries everywhere. See that? It's crazy, isn't it? This is another bin. Same thing, with kitchen scraps and that in the bottom, and then soil on top. These seeds are all marigolds. And I did plant some cucumbers in there, but they're not growing, so probably the seeds are very old. You never know. Same thing, a little bit of fluid in this bin. It's like compost tea. I can just pour it right back in. Fertilize everybody. See this bush of flowers right here? This is an herb called feverfew. I had planted one small plant in a pot maybe 5 years ago, and these all go to seed and they spread. So as you can see, the pot is gone. I took the pot away and I emptied it and it planted something else in there. But as you can see, look at this. The seeds all planted in the soil. I did not plant these. Aren't these gorgeous? This is feverfew herbs. So I hope you enjoyed this video. You have yourself a great day. Look at that. Look at all these peas I just harvested.